Hello and welcome to another edition of the One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
I'm Kyle. How are you doing today?
I'm a little tired after being at Hershey Park all day for our school trip, but it was a great day and a lot of fun, and I'm excited for another podcast here. How about you, Kyle?
I am too, and this is a really special podcast for me. So this is a friend of a friend, and she's already perked up. And this is somebody that we hang out with every time, every home game. We talk to a lot, interact with, and she's a friend of a lot of podcasts, and
Mhm.
she's always commenting in the comment section, but it's about time she gets to talk about herself. And because, I think this is what we've started the podcast on, a
Yep.
foundation of fans. Others have as well, but I think this is a really good opportunity to bring on a good friend and special guest, Valerie Metzler.
Yeah. So welcome, Valerie.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. We tried once before and then I got sick. It's a wonder though I can talk because my throat is still a little hoarse from Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I thought the crowd was going pretty well, and that was good. I mean, yes, there were a lot of ups and downs to it for sure, but for a little bit there it felt kind of like the old times,
Hmm.
For 5 minutes.
for 5 minutes. Yeah, between Mikkel scoring and then the red card. So
Yeah.
um so yeah.
Let's talk about what we're wearing today.
All right, so I brought out one that I got, I think, in 2019. I haven't worn it in a while, but I have a V-neck, just navy blue Union on the front, the crest on the front, and on the back it has in big white letters Philadelphia Union. So I got this, gosh, I got it online back in 2019, and I figured a good V-neck to go with my horrible V-neck tan that I got from what I was wearing on Sunday at the Women's Open, the
Oh,
golf. Um, so yeah, so it just matches, you know.
I think we both did.
Yeah, I got pretty bad like t-shirt tan.
I got farmer stand.
Kyle, yeah,
yeah.
you've got a really bad farmer's tan. So,
Yeah.
so what are you wearing, Kyle?
I'm wearing the Laramie dupe shirt that I got back in like 2020.
I'd say 2021 or 2022.
Yeah, like very early on. Like when we started going over to Laramie, that used to be our old spot after games.
You really didn't have anywhere else to go.
No, we didn't. But I still like the shirt. And it's still a 2XL. That was the only size they had. I'm like, sure, give me a 2XL.
Yeah.
So, Valerie, what are you wearing?
Well, I guess I have the newest attire on because this is just from last year's in anticipation of this year's tie-dye day for
Nice.
Pride. This is the one I made last year, Love is Love.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people were doing rainbow colors, but I decided this is a Sons of Ben, it's Union, Philly is blue and
Yeah,
gold.
right.
So I
Yes.
thought I'd kill two birds with one stone, and I just ordered my shirt for this year's tie-dye event, and I'm going to do the same thing this year. Another blue and gold.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
that's
we
what
need to do
this
that.
is.
Yeah, I love that. And we did that too. That was a lot of fun. I'm glad
It
that
was
we're doing
fun.
that again. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love tie-dye. When I was coaching college every year, my girls for championship season, we'd always do a tie-dye party because I always do tie-dye. I love
I love
tie-dye and
tie-dye
it's,
too.
it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'd always like we were black and gold, and we'd always be like, okay, and then it would always turn out blue and gold. And we never did it right. And then this year I tried to do, well, last year I tried to do blue and gold, and it did not turn out real. It turned out green and yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, but
have
it still looked
some
pretty good.
green.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. But yeah, definitely fun. And for people listening, yeah, so Sons of Ben, go to their website or their socials and you can find out
Yes.
more about that, and get to do some tie-dyeing on the June 15th game versus Miami.
And please participate because that's a fun time.
Yeah.
That's a fun time.
Yeah, absolutely. So if make sure to subscribe and follow us on our various socials, and we're on YouTube. You can also find us on Twitter at TOTWAG, on Facebook and Instagram at The One Team We Agree On, and our website, theoneteamweagreeon.com.
So take it away.
All right. So Valerie, how about you tell us how you got into soccer and, more importantly, following the Union?
Okay. When I was growing up, there was no soccer to be seen, heard, or had anywhere around where I lived. My high school didn't have it. My none of the neighboring schools, and if maybe some other ones did that were nearby that we might have played in other sports, we just never ever heard of it. So I knew the word soccer, and I knew probably at that time didn't even know it was also called football. But when I got to college, I went to Elizabethtown College in Lancaster County,
Mhm.
and still to this day, E-Town does not have an American football team. So
Mhm.
soccer was the sport. And back in my day, we won championship after championship. Not only was it the sport, it was the sport. And not to mention, this was in the 70s. All the men, I don't even remember the women's team, but the men's team, um, they all had long hair, and of course they had great legs, and I was hooked. So, and I made a lot of friends with the soccer players. And like I said, we had a really, really good, with good teams all the time, the years that I was in school. And it was fascinating to me. I loved the sport, and hearing names like back then, teams in Europe that my friends talked about, like Borussia Mönchengladbach. I thought, whoa,
Yeah.
what is that? So that's how I got into it, and I've been a big fan ever since.
So,
And go ahead.
so going to school in E-Town, Lancaster County, and now do you go up now? You're in Altoona. Do you
Yes.
still go up and h- check out St. Francis soccer in Loretto? I'm just curious because they got a good soccer program up there.
Yes, yeah. I've been to, like, when E-Town plays near here, like they play Juniata, I'll
Yes.
go to those games. But I haven't been, and I've been to Penn State games up at Penn State. I've been to Penn State Altoona games and St. Francis, not lately. And I have three sons,
Hmm.
Ezra and Christian and Isaac are twins. They all played. And I've been to St. Francis more often when they were in some kind of tournament up there than I have been to actually see the college teams play.
All right. Yeah, no, that's interesting. No, I mean, like I said, I lived up in Red for a year, so I'm familiar with Altoona,
Mhm.
especially the Sam's Club in Altoona, the right off that exit going down the
Yeah.
mountain. Yep,
Yeah.
Okay.
you've been to the Target there.
Yeah, I did go through.
I've been to the
So
Target. Yes.
yes, but anyway, so how has the union affected you and your family?
Well, and actually, to
Okay.
let her finish,
Oh,
also, like, tell
Oh
us
yeah.
how you got into the
Yeah,
Union,
yeah, yeah.
first of
No,
all.
no.
yeah.
Sorry.
So, with my boys being interested in soccer, um, they took to it naturally. I mean, they could have gone into any sport. They knew I was a big fan, so maybe I had an influence. But during World Cups, I remember when it was in South Korea, we'd set our clocks, alarm clock, and get up in 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, turn the TV on and watch. And um, and then they played in their schools all through. I became a ref because of my kids, and I got the highest grade in the testing when I was a ref for one season. But then um, and I organized and managed their indoor teams. I never wanted to coach. I respect both of you for coaching. But I would manage the team. I'd take care of the money and, yelling at the parents to whatever, keep people in line.
Mhm.
And so we've been following soccer all along. So before there was a Philadelphia Union, we were fans of kind of casual fans of the closest teams like DC
Mhm.
United. We've watched the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and I hate to say this, but even we paid attention to NYCFC for a second. And um, our first game, so we would pay attention from afar because we are 3.5 hours away.
Mhm.
Right.
And our first game we went to was in 2012. Ezra had just graduated from he also went to E-Town. And um, he had just graduated. We went on his birthday weekend. His birthday's June 23rd. And what we did was we took Christian and Isaac and I got on the train here in Altoona. There's a tail. And and he was still at E-Town then. So
Mhm.
we took the train and it stops at E-Town
Mhm.
and picked him up, and we went to Philadelphia, and a friend of ours has a hotel there, and he got us a room. And it also happened to be during the Euros that year,
Mhm.
2012. So we made a whole big soccer weekend because we don't get saturated in soccer here in Altoona. So we took advantage of going to the Union game and then going to pubs, sports bars around where there would be actually crowds of people
Mhm.
watching soccer and not like, just American football and everything else. So that was a memorable weekend. Um, we sat in, I think it's 121, one of the corners
Mhm.
uh, on the bridge side, and it was Sporting Kansas City, and I believe we won 4-0. I know we won. I think that was the score. So, and it was just so fun, so fun. So, and every year after that, then we would come to at least one game, but not more than about two, again, because it's a fur piece.
Yeah.
So that's how we got in. Just the geographical proximity is how we got into it because we already loved soccer. Every time we get an email from the union saying how was your soccer experience
Mhm.
for this game, and it gives you questions about why are you there. My answer is I love soccer. I'm not
Mhm.
there for any other reason. I mean, now it has become such I've got it like a second family, I feel like. So it's more than that now, but my main reason is I just want to see some good football.
Well, that's awesome. I feel like we've heard from a lot of people that, and ourselves included, that when they first went to a Union game, they just kind of fell in love with it, just loved the experience. And that's how it happened for us too. And so that's really great to hear your story on that
Uh,
because
and I apologize. I'm looking up this game right now
of
because, of course, I'm the data guy. Like
course.
I'm like looking it up. So
Oh,
I'm trying to find the game actually.
my game our first
Yeah,
game,
yeah. I'm trying to find it.
it was June 22nd or 23rd of 2012.
Yeah,
Ah.
and you were right on the score. There you go.
About
There you
that.
go.
So, and who scored in that game?
Oh my gosh, Sofa score. I got now you got me going to like
Okay.
five
I
other
I think
sites.
CJ Sapong did because he was
He was a part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Union then.
he
Yeah.
was. I'm like now
Now
now you got me.
you're going in a deep dive,
Now I'm
Kyle.
going to a deep dive. So
So,
why don't you ask
uh,
the next question?
okay. So, I mean, yeah. Um, So, I mean, you kind of already talked to us about how the union affected you and your family. So, this is what Kyle was going to talk about. So let's move on to the next, actually.
Well, I
Or
could
if you want
add
to
to
share more
that
about, yeah, if you want
because,
to add.
well, because it was a real family thing. When we became season ticket holders,
Mhm.
um, we we knew we couldn't all get to the game. So even though there were three sons and me, that makes four. Uh, we we got only three tickets because we thought we're not
Yeah.
always going to be able to use four. And we didn't know, we'd never been season ticket holders anywhere. And that's another thing. I don't have anything to compare. I don't attend other professional sports at all. And anymore, I don't really even watch them.
Mhm.
My best friend once said, um, I Valerie, I know other people who are big sports fans and they'll love a certain team and they'll watch all of that team's games. But Val, you watch all the soccer. That's pretty, I don't have time for another sport. So there's
Yeah.
only one sport for me. So my kids were like that too.
Mhm.
They, over the years since we were first season ticket members in, well, we tried in 2020 and that
Yeah.
didn't happen.
Right.
So since 2021, their interest has waned.
Mhm.
They're now all big Formula One fans. In fact, my kids are in Montreal right now
No?
for a race. So they're not going to any with me, but this year. But the point I wanted to make was that sure, we first attended, me and two or three sons, and then I forget, I don't think it was 2021, but I'm pretty sure 2022, when I found such a warm and welcoming atmosphere. Josie. Um, and the kids couldn't come. I started coming by myself and would
Mhm.
sell the extra tickets if the kids couldn't come. And now it's only me with one season ticket. So I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So update, I did find the score was 4-0. Jack McInerney had a brace. And
Ah,
there you go.
Yeah.
So, and then there was two other goals. Ray Gaz had a yellow card. There's a blasphemy pass. Yeah, yellow card.
Oh boy.
When does Ray Gaz get a yellow card? I mean,
yeah,
anyway.
really.
Um, so
Yeah.
do you want to ask the next question?
Yeah. So, anyway, so let's talk about your typical game day routine. What's that like for you?
Well, we've already mentioned how I live 3.5 hours away,
Mhm.
Right.
and it so happens that I have a client who lives in Plymouth Meeting, so that's not far, and I go there to work 1 week every month. And that has, and I've been doing this since actually next month will be 10 years. Hard to
Oh.
believe. But that has what afforded me the ability to even consider being a season ticket member.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So my typical game day is working for that client, and um, usually now that they're all at 7, the games are all at 7:30. It's much more of a routine than it used to be.
Mhm.
I usually work till 3 o'clock and head down to Chester and go to the tailgate. And I did this when the kids were still coming, and they would meet me there from wherever they were coming from. Two of them live in Maryland, and they're only an hour and 10 minutes away.
Mhm.
Still don't come now. I'm not happy about it. So that's what I usually do. Go to the tailgate. I get something to eat and drink first,
Mhm.
and for free because I always volunteer.
Mhm.
And you just can't beat it. I mean, it's a good deal anyway, even if you don't volunteer. But when you volunteer, you get admission is free.
Mhm.
And of late, I've been, I pretty much always chose the later slots in the volunteer jobs so that I could get as many hours of work in and then go. So I've changed it up from the first thing I ever did was check in people. And then I've done some food serving. Then I started doing cleanup. But the thing that I've really come to enjoy that I've done all this year was working the beer trailer. So I'm an expert
Mhm.
serving
There you go.
beer. Yeah. So
Um,
that's my routine. And then I march in,
Mhm.
mhm.
lose my voice, begin the loss of my voice marching in, and then sit in 105. When we first got our season tickets, we were in 109 because
Mhm.
I thought it would be interesting to sit above the opposing players and see them. But
Mhm.
my boys and I found ourselves always looking down and saying, "Oh, there's Jacob, there's Sky, oh, I'd like to get a
Yeah.
better look at them." So
Yeah.
we moved to 105. The boys and I did stand in the river end long ago, and I did it during Leagues Cup last year because I
Mhm.
didn't opt in for the tickets, so I was in 136 at one of the games
The
last
best
year.
section.
The best section. The best section.
Yes.
Yes,
You,
of the
you,
river end.
Mhm.
yes, and you need to come back to the River End for Leagues Cup this
Well,
year.
you're welcome anytime.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
well, and so two reasons why we chose 105. I mean, it's um, if you're right in the half line, it's
Yeah.
more expensive. So it
Right.
was a little more reasonably priced and right where our team
Mhm.
warms up. And then the other benefit is that it is closer to the river end, and we
Mhm.
can really make out what the chants are, what the words are. Because sometimes if you're farther away, you can hear the voices, but
Yeah.
you can't make out the words. So I've learned the chants that way. So we're real happy in 105. And now over the
Mm.
years we've made friends
Right.
with the other
Mhm.
folks who sit in the same places. So you just can't beat it. It's
No, and that's the one thing we always talk about
Oh yeah.
too, is the friends we've made along the way
Yes.
sitting in our section. And it's always funny now, like Todd, Jose, it's like, hey, where's Valerie? When like everybody's doing national anthem, we're like, oh, there she is. There's Valerie. And we're like, and we're all like wave to you, even though you don't see us. We're always like, hey, Valerie. So next time, like, just look up at the press box. We're probably gonna be waving at you
Oh, I
guys.
have.
Yeah.
Todd just got a picture of me,
Yes.
and he
Mhm.
took it and said, "Oh, I finally see you."
Yeah, yeah. Because he's always like, where's Valerie? I'm like, she's right there. Like, no, it's just funny.
Well, and I will be the one of the few adults who always stands up for the corners,
Mhm.
and I don't just go
Yeah,
Yeah.
I go Union.
Nice.
nice.
I wish everybody in the
So
game said
remember
that.
the Montreal game that we went to that one time and you and I were standing up there? So we had a game where we were like, hey, let's go sit in another
Oh
area.
yeah. So that was what,
22,
2021
that was
or
2022. That
22?
was one of the games where we flipped it, where Quinn scored a goal, right? And he scored a late goal, and we're like, yay. And somebody was like, sit down. This isn't the supporters end. And I'm
Oh.
like, what? Okay, we're going back to River End. And that's kind
The
of
last time we were not in the river end.
2022.
I still think that was 2021, but
It might have been 2021. It's
maybe.
been so long.
I know
But
it all blends
what's
together.
weird was somebody yelled at us, like, sit down. We're like, what? Like, what's that?
No one has ever yelled at me
Yeah.
to sit down.
Well, and it's funny because at this point, I feel really weird if I'm actually sitting in a game. I'm so used to that now.
Yeah.
Like, because yeah, we were always in 136, and then if we go to like an away game, well, we're standing too
Yeah.
because we're supporters. But yeah, that I do love how we get to know everyone in our sections, and it's such like a family, you know.
So I got a question because this has been this podcast is founded on supporting the club. That said, like, how can people volunteer? Like, I know I asked you that earlier today. Like, do you think there's still need for volunteers?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's been a little slim on
Oh,
volunteers lately. Um, I don't recall that all the years I've been doing it, I don't recall that we kind of had to beg for people to volunteer, and I don't know what's going on. But to me, I'm a bit of a cheapskate,
Hmm.
always looking for a bargain.
right.
Stuff, most of my merch has been on sale.
Hmm.
And um, so, the fact that you get in all you can eat, all you
Hmm.
can drink for free for just what feels like a few minutes work. And there's so many interesting jobs. All the jobs that you do, it helps you meet
Hmm.
people. And I find that that's one of
Hmm.
the other benefits is when, like, if you're checking people in, you see people and maybe you wouldn't see them,
Hmm.
Hmm.
you would miss them, and maybe it's a neighbor you didn't know was
Hmm.
coming, and you just get to talk with more people than you might. We all have our friends that we look for and we want to talk to, but it's so fun to meet new people. And so that's one reason why I've had such a good time in the beer trailer, because you definitely see a lot of people.
Oh,
Hmm.
That's
you do.
a mecca.
Yeah.
So, and it's all you do is go to the Sons of Ben website, or there's always links in all the
Hmm.
socials a few days before every not every home game, weekend home game,
Right.
because we don't have formal tailgates during the week. Um, and then there's a list of tasks, like from setting up to after cleaning up at the end. And that's even easy because you get a bunch of people, more hands make light work, and food preparation, food service, um, the beer trailer, and the twisted tea tent
Hmm.
serving. What am I missing? That might cover it all. But and you're not the only one
Hmm.
doing all those things. There's always
Right.
about five
Hmm.
people that will sign up for any one of those tasks. And for an hour or an hour and a half time. It's not the whole time.
Hmm.
But really, I've found it's a great way to meet people. And it makes you feel more a part of the group if
Hmm.
you're volunteer. I mean, that goes with any situation. If you volunteer, you're gonna feel good about it.
For
So,
sure. For sure. So,
Absolutely. And so, yeah, hopefully we can, keep getting more people stepping up and volunteering in there. And yeah, it's something that like we've thought about doing it, and now we've gotten a little busy with all the media stuff, but
yeah, that's
yeah.
been the thing. Like, there was a time where we really wanted to help, but as you've seen, we're talking and hanging out with us, like we're bouncing around now, or like and I've even thought about, like, there's been a couple games where I'm just like, maybe if we're both in the river end,
Mhm.
we'll volunteer. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility
Yeah,
for
but
us.
mhm.
we do really appreciate everyone who does
Exactly.
volunteer and help make the game day experience great because, yeah, as we always say, the Sons of Ben tailgate is the best deal there is, and
Exactly.
we love it. When it's the off season, I miss that, and
Mhm.
it was a great atmosphere this past
And
Saturday,
that's what
and we
we
had beautiful weather for once.
And that's what
So,
we
Yeah.
always tell people,
yeah,
thank you.
yes,
Like, every time we get something, we say thank you, thank you,
yes,
thank you. Because
yes.
I see people like, okay, okay, okay. I'm like, thank you. Thank you for helping. Thank you for volunteering, because I know the commitment it takes. And
Yeah.
Mm.
it's not gone without saying.
Yeah.
So,
So, yeah. So, we enjoy sharing union merch on our show, and you know, we know you have some things there. So would you like to share some of the things that you have with you?
Well, yes, I have. This is the first thing I ever got, and this is scarf that I forget what year, and it has two signatures on. The boys and I were there on an alumni day. I'm sure it wasn't 2012. It was because that wouldn't have been an alumni day, I don't think. No, it was sometime after that. And I've got these two signatures, and I have no idea who they are. It's that was in our rookie years as Union fans. So I hardly even knew who these people were at the table
Mhm.
Right.
signing autographs.
Right.
You know, it would be different now. I know all the alumni, so I might remember who. So I
Mhm.
need to get someone to tell me. But this is a prized possession because it's the first thing I ever got. And then
Nice.
speaking of tailgates and making friends, this is a comfy summer because
Yes, it
sometimes it gets
is.
hot. And the reason it's special to me is because I wore it one tailgate, um, one of the first tailgates we went to in the old lot,
Mm-hmm.
and um, Rachel was at the merch table, she and John,
Mm-hmm.
and she had the same top on, and she made a comment about, "Oh, I love your top." And I had to look down. Oh yeah, you have it too. And it sparked a conversation, and we've been friends ever since. So this is a little special to me for that. And then I don't know if you call this merch, but
That's
this is
merch.
definitely a
This,
prized
that
possession.
is,
This is a signed Morgan Tenza photograph of when Ali Bedoya scored the goal against DC and leaned over and said, "When are you going to do something about gun violence?" So
oh,
that's,
love that.
Love
yeah.
that.
And this was a gift for my birthday last year from Ezra. It's just a plaque.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
With
Andre there, nice.
and I don't have as many jerseys as some people I know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay, yeah, I know I
but
have a
I
lot.
but I do have a lot of scarves, and this is just like 10% of what I have. I've
Mm-hmm.
gotten, of course, being a season ticket member,
Yeah.
gotten one of those every year. I've
Yeah.
gotten at least one every other year and more. So, oh, and this flag
Uh-huh.
is the one that was made when the Russians uh, started the war against Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Sons of Ben made this,
yeah.
and um, so I actually have some historical connections with Ukraine, and so it was a terrible thing, and so I definitely wanted to get one of those. And then another nice thing about Sons of Ben is that I have a class, not a classmate, but a fellow alum of Elizabethtown
Mm-hmm.
who is Ukrainian. And I reached out to the philanthropy part
Hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
Sons of Ben and asked if they could send this and a membership kit. And absolutely, that no
Yeah.
hesitation,
Mm-hmm.
yes, absolutely. So my friend Volodymyr was really happy to get that, and that I love having this too.
That's awesome. We have one of those flags too.
We fly in our garden. Actually, I think it's the one. It's either that or it's the TRA flag, the
Yeah.
River End flag. We
Yeah.
we fly those two flags very frequently. We did get the new flag this year. We have yet to fly it. I think that's going to be
Yeah,
coming up.
we fly.
Every month we put out a new flag.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
So we put them in our backyard. Our HOA is weird.
yeah, you
And
can't put it
I
out
hate
front.
HOAs, but
Yeah.
they're such a
We
scam.
tried that once and they were like, that's a business. I'm like, it's a supporters group. So,
Yeah, they're dumb. But
Yeah.
anyway,
anyway,
This of course isn't union,
Yeah.
but a
Yeah.
friend of mine got this authentic from at an auction. I've kept the lot number on it just
Oh, wow.
that's nice though.
That's a nice
yeah.
piece of art, though.
Going back to how I got into soccer in the first place, this was when I finished my first year of college when this was going on,
Mhm.
and so it really, I was thrilled when he gave me that.
That's
My friend.
awesome.
That is awesome because I think my dad
Nice.
was like, what, he graduated from Lock Haven in 72. He was like an all-American track. Yeah, like funny story, like my dad would talk about soccer in Lock Haven growing up. Like it
Hmm.
was big soccer back then,
Mm-hmm.
like soccer and wrestling. So they used to always go to
Ah,
soccer in Lock Haven. So, and he was always like, yeah, they would always talk about 1974. And I'm like, why? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh,
ah,
no,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
mm.
set,
I'm sure
I'm
that was
gonna,
big for my dad too, though,
so
because he was
here's
in
the funny
college
thing. I'm gonna
then.
clip this and send it to my dad. Be like, "Hey, Dad, this is why all
Yeah, get
the
a good picture.
and yeah, right."
Yeah.
So, as a supporter, Valerie, what ways do you think the union can attract new fans? In addition, do you think they're doing a good job now? And if not, how can they improve?
I'm not sure how to attract new fans because, as I said before,
Yeah,
I'm there because I love football.
right,
Mhm.
And the I'm staying because I have had such a great experience, win or lose.
right.
You know, I got in on the uptick when the team was improving, but I was still paying attention to all the other years. Just wasn't, didn't have the opportunity to go to all the games. So I'm not a good person to ask. They'd have to treat me terribly for me not to keep going and not to be a supporter.
Mhm.
And so I'm not sure how to attract new fans if they're not crazy about soccer to begin with.
Mhm.
Mm, and gimmicky kind of events, I don't know. So I don't have a good answer for you at all.
No, and that's actually really fine because we've had a lot of people on this podcast before that have said the same exact thing. They don't know.
Yeah, and we know there are people who are soccer fans around. There's a lot of people who like the Premier League or they like Wrexham because of the show
Right.
or
Yes.
whatever. And
And that's fine.
I mean, it would be nice if more of those people that maybe only follow European soccer actually start supporting the local team.
Well, what was fun?
Success will do that. More eyes were definitely on the Union after
Yes.
2022.
Yes.
And had we finished that off, I think that would have been ginormous. But I
Having
mean,
said that, when we were at the Wrexham game last year, there was a lot of people that were like, I'd actually like to come back to a Union game. I've never been to a
Mm.
Union game. And
yeah,
I'm
we
like,
did hear that.
we heard that a lot. And I'm like, this is actually the best. And actually, I saw one of the people in the Sons of Ben tailgate lot that we met
Oh, really?
earlier in the year. Now, I haven't seen him since.
Mhm.
That was the Real Salt Lake. So maybe
Yeah,
that's.
probably like, oh, well,
Oh, yeah.
I
Maybe
mean,
that game scared him away. But
Yeah.
I think for I think for some, just the fan experience, I think like one thing people were grumbling about, for instance, is the concessions. Like it's expensive and it maybe, and I was saying
Yeah.
this today on like the Facebook group, why can't they allow you to bring in an unopened water bottle like they do at the Phillies?
or
Something
the
like that.
Eagles do it too.
Yeah. So that would be that would be helpful, make it more family friendly, so you're not
Yeah.
going and spending all this money. And this is why, of course, we do the tailgate, but it's pretty much a necessity. I need to go get a water at least when I'm in there. I'm parched, when it's the summer, especially.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
yeah, I think they could improve some things. I know they're trying to make it fun with the plaza, and now they have Union Yards. And speaking of which, what's your thoughts on Union Yards?
Is it
Mm,
cursed?
I It's either that or the suits, gym
Yeah.
suits, one or
Yeah.
the other.
Right. I would, yeah,
I'm looking
I'd
at
like,
you right now,
I
judging,
miss
because
casual gym.
I like suit gym.
I'm not saying, hey,
Oh,
Jim
he
looks
looks great.
fantastic in the
Looks,
suits,
yeah.
but I think he needs to go back to the casual wear. Yeah, he looked good that too.
I agree with Jose. Like, this is fun. We're talking about like, why is this team cursed? But at the end of the day, I mean, there's more things about this team that maybe,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, for sure. It's just, it's our way of coping.
It really is.
like,
It's a
this is
fun
our-
way. We're
Well,
having fun with this, and this is what fans
yeah,
need to do. It's like you
yeah.
see a guy with a paper bag on, say he's coping. I mean, sure, let's have fun with it. You know,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's like I won't watch a game, an away game at home, or if I can't get to the
right?
stadium, I won't watch it without dressing in my, usually it's my, I've got my, oh, you can't see.
Mhm.
No, you can't
Yeah,
see. The logo is above my knee. I don't know how to do that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My union pajamas,
Yeah.
bottoms
Right.
on. You know, so what, and a scarf and my bracelets and I stand up and clap at the corners and cheer and scare the cats.
Mhm.
You know, so truly, I don't think whether I'm dressed in union gear in my home has any bearing
Mhm.
on whether the team wins or loses. I'm not
Like our lucky
100% sure.
jerseys.
What?
Oh, we all have our superstitions.
Like
Yes.
our lucky jerseys.
Yeah.
I brought
It
out
never
my,
had any.
I brought out the lucky jersey for the most recent game, and well, we didn't lose. So wearing lucky jersey, still immaculate at home. We didn't
I'm
lose.
giving you that look. Like
We didn't lose.
2022 ended that streak.
Okay, listen. We didn't lose at home. We did not lose at home. Anytime I've worn that shirt, did not lose them. Yes, I wore it at LA when we lost the cup. And yes, I wore it in Cincinnati last year when we lost that playoff game. But that wasn't at home. Just saying.
Okay.
Just putting that out there.
So what's different this year? Suits,
Mhm.
yards.
Yeah.
It's a fun conundrum to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fun discussion. So speaking of the team, what are your thoughts on the team this year? And look, we're not going to talk X's and O's on this one, but what are your thoughts? Like, you hear people, you're in the Union Facebook group. You hear some. Yes,
There's some wild takes on there
yeah.
sometimes.
I used to follow that religiously. I wouldn't miss a post.
And look, we're
I
not shouting anybody out.
There's
on
some
that.
I have
there's
been
some good stuff on
ignoring
there
it.
too, but yeah.
I've been mostly ignoring it. I look at what my closest friends post.
Right.
Um, I watch it to get the link for across the pitch,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
but it has been so Negadelphia.
Yeah, absolutely.
that,
Close
I
the
can't stand it.
curtain.
We have had so many discussions about this. Like, people are like, it had all the good ideas. It was like
Yeah.
a fun group. And then really quickly it became Union Reddit.
And yeah, Reddit is a silly place.
Tis a silly place and now this place. And the best one was, I
On
forget,
second thought, let's not go there. Tis a silly place.
and the
if you
best
get-
one was
and if people listening
recently
get the reference,
my
Yes.
Python. And the
Yes.
best one was earlier this year, a guy made a comment on Jose's post, and my dad and the son goes, "Dad, this isn't Union Reddit or Facebook. You can't say that thing's on Union Twitter." It was like, it was something funny like that. But I don't know, how do you feel about the team?
I don't know what the trouble is. I mean, and I didn't know what the trouble was last year. I couldn't figure out last year. We've got the fantastic, nearly award-winning, this close to award-winning team back. for
Right.
2023. Why did it work in 2022 and not 2023? And the older guys aren't that much older. Look at Ali. He
Yeah.
can go 90 minutes.
He
Yeah.
still can.
And so I really don't know
You think
what's
maybe
wrong.
our tactics have been figured out? Just the teams are figuring it out and knowing how to counter that.
Or do
Uh,
you think, the team has not done enough to improve the team? Those are like the two.
Could-
The tactics.
More than one thing can be true.
More than
Yeah.
one thing could be true.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out Kevin Kincaid.
Yes.
Yes.
But no, we've talked about it multiple times, and it's just a weird situation because I'm sure you have seen it, Valerie. Like there are glimpses, at least once every week, where like we're back, and then
Yeah.
like 5 minutes later, it's like, well, we're
Yes.
not back.
Okay, like Mikel Uwa's goal. That was a great goal.
That was probably one of
That-
his best
that-
goals he's scored.
That was quality. That's a striker
So,
goal there.
yes.
Mikel, like just moments like that. That was just
Or like
fantastic.
even like Julian and Danny going off against Saprissa, and then like the Saprissa game, like as frustrating as that was, we were scoring goals but left and right. And I was talking to a fan at Union Yards, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. He's like, he's been there since like the beginning. And he's
Uh-huh.
like, there was a discussion with a couple people we know in the Sons of Ben,
Mhm.
the Capos, and they're like, this team's bad. And he's like, no, this team's not bad.
No.
This team is frustrating. He's like,
Yeah.
I've been there since the beginning.
Mhm.
Those teams were bad. This team is
Yes.
frustrating.
Yes. And yeah, something I think must be wrong in the locker room. When I've seen you guys and other folks interviewing players after the game, they looked depressed.
They do.
So
They need whatever they've got going on in the locker room with Union too, because that's one thing Marlon LeBlanc said. And I think didn't Sal say something, but like they've just the team
They got
chemistry
the
right now.
look
They've
that
got
22 had. And
yeah.
but having said that,
Also,
about
they're a
the
bunch of
locker-
teenagers, a lot of them, so they've got that
Yeah.
going for them.
But
still.
having said that about the locker room, I do think there's some merit in that, but also I think they do stay together. Now, they're going to
Mhm.
stay together. That doesn't mean there's having coached, you can stay together as a locker room and still, have influx and differences of opinions. Having said that, we don't know anything. All
Yeah.
we've always been told is they're staying together. They're going to stay together. We're going to stay together. So
Telling you they need Dr. Sharon from Ted Lasso.
maybe they do.
Oh,
I don't know.
But no, I mean, it just I think they're maybe too much in their heads a little bit.
I think that's a lot of the. I think
I
it's
have
a
a
lot.
question for you. What do you think about Pineda being ousted at Atlanta?
I think it was. I thought he was going to be gone at the beginning of the
surprised it
season.
took this long.
Yes, we've all thought
We all
this.
saw it coming, but yeah.
We saw it coming. In fact, actually, I said to Todd on, what's it, Saturday? I said to him, I'm like, are you surprised Pineda's still here? He's like, I am. And he's like, he's going to be gone soon. I'm like, watch, they're going to do it at the end of the season. He was right. Next day, he's gone on Monday. So,
Yeah.
So
No.
and I'm referring to Jim Curtin, and I don't think Jim is a problem. I love Jim,
Mhm, same.
and but I do wonder when I see who was the other coach that got sacked this year.
from Nashville, that's right above
Yes.
him that I think Todd and Jose were talking about. Now, my
Doesn't
thought,
take much, it
it
seems.
doesn't, especially in MLS. It doesn't. We've seen coaches finish what, like 6 and get sacked? No,
Yeah.
it's a very volatile league. And Jim has said that as well. He's like, if you don't make the playoffs now, what does that talk about your career, like, are you going to survive? Like, if the Union finished 10th,
Mm-hmm.
is he going to survive? I mean, it's a reasonable question. Having said that,
Yeah.
I think it's like the coach from Seattle. He's had some bad years, but he's also won several MLS Cups. He's also
Yeah.
won the CCC. Now, Jim hasn't reached that mark, but he's been one of the most successful coaches in MLS.
Honestly, I think if we let him go, it's going to be an Andy Reid situation.
Exactly.
He's going to go elsewhere, be given what he needs, and bam,
and they'll be successful. And I think that,
And I would hate to, I mean, gosh,
I think that could very well eventually become a situation if things continue to progress. I've had these conversations with other people, but we don't know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I would say right now, no, I don't think Jim's on the hot seat at all. I
No.
think he's got enough goodwill.
Mhm.
Now, if
Yeah.
we're at the end of next year and the Union are still performing like this, well,
he's
maybe-
done, yeah, he's done a lot with little. I mean,
Yes.
considering they're not a big spending club and everything,
and that's
Right.
the other thing too.
you have to give him credit for that. I honestly I really like having Jim as the coach. He's a Philly guy. He gets it. And he's very much, players coach. He really gets his players to buy in. And he's always been really great with the media too on our end.
Mhm.
He has been.
Yeah.
So-
So we appreciate that. So, hopefully things will turn around. It would be nice for a signing or something to help out here, but
I hold
I'd
my
like
breath.
to have some more memorable games, like,
yes.
my favorite games from the past.
Yes, and speaking of
Yeah.
which, you tell us, what are your top 3 Union moments and why?
Well, I'd already mentioned our first game back
Right.
in 2012, so I'm going to count that
Yes.
as a favorite because, that set the course. But the next one that I think of, that got us, the game that got us to even consider being season ticket members was the 2019 Red Bull game.
Oh yeah.
We came from behind, and that that really sealed the deal for we got to get here all the time.
Marco Fabian.
That was the same thing for us.
Well,
And
yeah,
that's what really, we actually were going to get season tickets next year. And then, of course,
COVID.
yeah.
But yeah, we were at that game. Man, that was awesome. What a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the next one after that was, I think one I really, really, really enjoyed was, what year was it? Oh, yeah, what year? 2022, the Nashville game, when goes to PKs. That was just amazing. I loved Walker Zimmerman skying
Yes.
into the river,
Yeah.
and Jack McGlynn, ice
Ice in
in his
Yes.
veins.
Yes.
That's
I don't know if you ever heard this story. So Jillian didn't know what happens next. And she goes to me, she goes, okay, so we're gonna remember you're like, what happens next? And you're
Yeah.
like, I'm like, we go to PKs. Like she didn't understand the whole like dynamic of that. And she's like, so
Okay.
we're going to PKs. And she's like, I don't feel good about this. I'm
Ah.
like, and then Honey steps up. She's like, I really
Especially
don't
because
feel-
I hate shootouts in hockey, for instance.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Well,
I'm
who
like-
likes them?
and then I turn to her and I go, if Blake stops us, they win. And Blake
Mhm.
stopped it.
Yeah, and
And
Yeah, Mukhtar. Yeah.
Oh, and that's like
That
even
was
to this
great.
day, that's like on my Twitter, it's like Andre, like celebrating. That's the picture that I have on the background of my Twitter, like still to this day,
yeah.
because what a moment that was. Well, yeah, that was 2021, and then we know what
Oh, yeah.
happened after. Well, we know what happened then
2021.
in 2021, right after that game.
And then remember those
COVID
fateful words in 2022?
Yes.
I said, Andre's got this. And we're
And we
never
know Kyle likes to jinx things.
Yeah, I like literally after we're going to PK, I'm like, Andre's got this. We're gonna win this. And narrator.
I didn't feel good about it either. when we
And
were going to it.
narrator.
Yeah.
And they did not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good memory.
PTSD.
And speaking of not quite good memories, I still have to put the MLS Cup final as an unforgettable, unparalleled
Hey,
atmosphere. I watched from on the pitch, all
mhm.
the people that were there. Um, we lost,
Yeah.
But you
and
know what? I've talked to so many
but it was a
supporters.
great experience.
I've talked to a lot of 2007 guys, like people were there from the beginning. I said, if you had to go back and do it again, like a time loop, like keep reliving it like Sisyphus, would you do it? And they're like, absolutely. That was like the
Uh,
greatest like 5 minutes of my life. Like just to relive that loop and just know, oh, here it comes again. All right. Well, hey, we scored again.
We always
I
joke.
still to this day watch Jack Elliott's goal. When I'm feeling a little down, I'll watch Jack Elliott's
Oh,
goal.
Jack's goal. And I have,
And
yes, I have
just
a
to like
video of us in the
listen,
stands.
just listening to that crowd erupt, all 2,000 of us erupt
Yes.
in what was it? Bank of
It was,
California.
yes, Bank of California Stadium at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a video I took of it though. We're celebrating and Kyle's there like emotional and like blacking out pretty much.
Yeah, I blacked out.
And we're like everyone's hugging each other. I don't know this
Yeah.
person, but we're hugging and all that. That was
So
Well, we
Yeah.
did that
yeah.
at the
Yeah.
Stube.
Yeah.
Yes. Todd was like telling us, like a lot of our friends are like, you have the picture of Jeff Mitchell breaking down in tears. Like one of
Yes.
the greatest pictures I've ever seen. Like
Yeah.
Yep.
you want to talk about like a supporter, like right there, that guy just broke it down. Like you want to know how much the union mean to somebody? That's it right there.
Absolutely.
So let's move on. Give me let's move on down to here. So we have a fun question for you. And besides us, what is your favorite podcast union podcast? We'll put you on the spot. Now look, we all follow multiple podcasts. We do too. And like you've heard from Jose, you've heard from Todd, you've heard from Mike. A lot of us, we support each other. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. But we always want to start asking people this, like, what's your favorite podcast? Because hey, we want to know. Not just because of that. We start having fun with this.
Well, I'm going to start off with what sounds like a diplomatic answer in that I just think it's wonderful how I've asked you folks and other people in the know, of fans of other teams. I'm amazed and so pleased with the fact that the union seems to have more podcasts, more support through this kind of interaction
Right.
than any other MLS team. I think it's just wonderful. So that said, I will put it this way. I enjoy the podcasts. I like being able to see, not just listen.
Mhm.
And I also like when there is more than one person. I like the interaction of people talking. So I would really have to say, honestly, I think even though I love Dave, Jose, and Mike, I would have to say that the interaction of you two as a married couple really brings an extra level to the intelligent look at the big smile. Intelligent
Look at your smile. You're like,
this intelligent discussion of the game and the atmosphere and everything that gets talked about on everything else.
right.
And I also, much as I love Todd, I do like his the free kick better than just his goal breakdowns.
Mhm.
I find that more interesting. But I'd have to give I don't have anything that's an award. I was going to mention my hair dye. I'll use that as a trophy. to you too.
Well,
Aw, we
thank you.
appreciate that.
We
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
that. And shout out to Ty because the Susan Gold breakdown. So the funny thing is,
Mhm.
like the
Oh,
gold
I
breakdown.
watch them all. I
Oh yeah,
watch them
yeah,
all.
no,
But
no, but shout out because we're sitting in the press box and we're like, okay, okay, and then we're like rolling that back and like Jose, Ty, and I are all like, clip this, clip that, clip
Oh,
this.
yes.
We were like, we have so much fun up there. Like Jillian's been up there with
I've been
them,
there
and
and
like that's the fun thing. We're like, clip this back because all of us want to educate this fan base. We want to grow this fan base, and we say this all the time. It's not about clout for us. It's not about like, making a name. It's really about just trying to grow something special that means deeply to us.
we love this
yeah,
team.
well, you asked about how the union can get more fans. I think if more people watched all of
Yes.
yours and our friends, mutual
Yeah.
friends podcasts, and see the um, unbridled enthusiasm that we all and love we have for the Philadelphia Union, um, and then how do we get people to watch and listen to your podcasts?
Or,
That's
or or they can follow Jose on Twitter and all his posts because Jose's killing it with
Yeah.
just the you know bringing out everything. I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah, he's
great
done
with
some excellent work.
him.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Him, and then you got Jonathan Tamwald. You got everybody. There's a lot of consumption to go around,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and there really is.
absolutely. So final question. Can you share some fun or interesting facts about cricket?
And before
Oh,
we before we start, like tell people like you're an archivist, right? And
yes.
yes, so I want to know how does one become that? Like, how do you how does that like is it a degree or like just experience or
Both. I got into it as a history major, an
okay,
undergraduate history major, and way back then I thought I would work in a museum.
okay,
It's almost like I know the word soccer. I knew the word archives, but I didn't really know a lot about it. But and then when it came time, I wanted to do an internship my senior year. The only one that was available was at the Pennsylvania State Archives in Harrisburg. So I took the
right,
train from Elizabethtown to Harrisburg 3 days. I
Mhm.
worked 3 full days a week my whole last semester of my senior year. And once I got there and started working, being taught how to do stuff in the archives, I thought, this is fun. This is what I want to do for a living.
Mhm.
So I did another internship at York College after I graduated. I got a scholarship for that, which just solidified. Then I got an entry level position in Carlisle at what was then called the U.S. Army Military History Institute. So I got that job by virtue of my history degree and my 2 internships. While I was working there, I got a master's degree in American Studies, still in keep with some concentrations on archives. The education to become an archivist has changed over the years. It's
hmm
it's leaning more towards a library degree with emphasis on archives, which frankly I disagree with. That's I'll start my own podcast to talk about that.
Mhm.
So so after working as an employee for about 9 years in went to Chicago and worked for Kraft, the food company, when they started their corporate archives. I saw the opportunity to go out on my own and started my own business, Valerie Metzler, Archivist Historian. And it's in that capacity now for 35 years. Um, uh, that I've been self-employed is how I got the job, the client in Plymouth Meeting
Mhm.
that I go to once a month. And he is a private collector. Not many of my clients have been private collectors, but he's Australian, and his collection is of the sport of cricket. So ask me anything about cricket now.
Mhm.
I am now an expert on that. But so he collects photographs, um, letters, magazines, books, Some are rare books. Not too many artifacts. He did for a while, but he's gotten away from that. So I'm cataloging. It got so that he had so much. He didn't know, he lost track of what he had. So somehow he got the idea, oh, I need an archivist. And that's how I got that gig.
So what's a fun fact that you didn't know about cricket before you
Because
started?
I like know very little about
Yeah,
cricket.
we know zero.
Well, it's a little bit like baseball.
Mhm.
Right.
But they call it bowling is different than how a baseball is pitched.
Mhm.
And the way you hold a bat is also different. They never bat like up. It's either
Yeah.
Mhm.
horizontal or vertical near the ground. But and then so there's and then the runs are back and forth, not around bases. But what I have come to enjoy about it, learning about cricket, is just the social aspect. It used to be that they would take tea breaks. And
Mhm.
another interesting aspect is how it spread throughout the former British Empire.
Mhm.
So it's actually getting with more, say, Indian, Pakistani, West Indian immigrants in the United States, it's actually picking up in popularity.
Hmm.
So the Philadelphia area has historically been a relative hotbed of cricket.
Hmm.
The railroad had a lot to do with it. And in fact, there's a place in Altoona called Cricket Field because it was originally built as a cricket playing field because the Pennsylvania Railroad um, powers that be wanted to try to um, attract more English men to
Yeah.
work on the railroad here. So they decided, oh, well, we're gonna offer cricket. But all along the main line of the across Pennsylvania, there were teams affiliated with the railroad. So I find that interesting. And like I said, the history of the Commonwealth, I mean the empire, um, and the different places where it's played. Some countries it's not, it's even less popular
Yeah.
than the US. It's pretty much unheard of. But yeah, I'd have to say that this client of mine has been my favorite one that I've ever had. Right, Josie?
Oh, is
Yes.
that Josie? Can we
We're-
see Josie?
Yes, let's have a little cat show and tell here.
Oh, she got white balls.
So yes, for people listening, fun fact.
Purring.
Yes, fun fact.
Oh.
Yeah, Valerie's cats are named after soccer players.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Well, and
so
you were gonna, I know it's getting late, you were gonna ask
Mm.
about favorite players.
yeah.
And I just wanted to mention that the first definite favorite is Ali Bedoya.
Oh yeah.
All right. Is
But
he a Hall of Famer?
oh yes.
All right. There is
Yes.
debate. There is debate.
No,
I
his
think
national,
yeah.
yeah, national play and what he's done, yeah, I think so. And it's hard, I mean, after I say Ali, it's hard for me to pick, like you asked, you were wondering about my top three favorite players. It's really hard. There, I would say there's like on this team, and since I've been a season ticket holder and even before, there's no one that I don't like. I have a
Right.
seatmate who absolutely hates Martinez.
Hmm.
So every time he does something good, I'm, yeah.
Right.
Lately,
It's like me when like somebody does something great and somebody's like, "Ooh, it's bad," and I'm
Yeah.
like, and then when
Yeah.
the scores that goal, I'm like,
No, I hear you because like
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
I really enjoy like all of the players,
yeah,
you know.
and we all do,
Yeah.
but I got such a kick out of not so much even on field, but when Stuart Findlay, Jacob Glesnes, and Jack Elliott would be on the union fan services or administration, whatever they call it, doing funny things. It was always a hoot. So I miss
Yes.
Stu.
Yes,
And
me
uh,
too, as
and then
most
in
people
the
listen to us know.
yeah, I know we share that. And I wrote, oh, but um, other favorites I would say are for me now are Martinez and Gazdag.
Hmm.
And then another from the past, I mentioned CJ Zapong before. I liked him when he was here.
Awesome,
Awesome.
awesome. Well, and that's the other thing. I love to learn about union history and stories from the past because
Mhm.
we casually followed it, back
Mhm.
right at the beginning, but now we're, kind of getting knee deep into it. So, again, Valerie, thank you so much for coming on. This has been
Oh,
Super
amazing.
fun.
And we're having so much fun. Probably have you back on again down the road. But before we go, where can people find you?
I'm not on Twitter anymore. Years ago, I got on Twitter just for the union talk.
Hmm.
Yes.
And I got off for no other reason that Elon Musk bought it,
Hmm.
and I couldn't condone that. So I'm missing out on everything I'm missing out on.
Right.
But I'm on Facebook, just my name, Valerie A. Metzler. Instagram, there I'm ValveCap Vicky. ValveCap Vicky was the two nicknames that my father called me, ValveCap.
Hmm.
And for some reason, he called me Vicky, which I hated. And of
Hmm.
course, he called me that more. So I am honoring him by using that. I'm on Mastodon also as ValveCap Vicky. Um, is that it? I think that's it.
All right.
All right. Well, awesome. So yeah, thanks so much. We appreciate this.
And so that's it for this episode, the One Team We Agree On.
Yeah. And also, before we sign off,
Okay.
super quick shout out. So, I mentioned I went to Hershey Park today.
Yes.
So I want to shout out to a certain student who's wearing a Matt Riel warm-up top at Hershey Park today. It was the only union thing I saw. We were watching to see if we see any other.
You saw 3 Messi jerseys and a Charlotte jersey.
Yes. Said student, he
Charlotte.
knows who he is. He reported how many Messi jerseys, because I said to him, I said, all right, let's see how many Messi jerseys we see at Hershey Park. And he reported back to me, yes, he saw, I believe, 3 Messi jerseys, 1 Charlotte, and I think like a youth academy one or something.
Oh, okay.
As well. So there we go. So but yeah, Matt Riel warm-up top from the locker room sale. So shout out Caden. And so anyway, I know he listens to this. So anyway, I thought that was fun. But yeah, because last year I think I counted 3 union jerseys or tops that I
Yep.
saw at Hershey Park.
You
and
did.
I didn't see any this year. So anyway, but I just thought that was a fun fact I threw in there since we did that. And but yeah, so everyone, if you haven't subscribed to us, please do and leave us comments. We love hearing from you. Check us out on our socials as well. If you have any ideas on future episodes or guests, please send them our way.
And until next time, I'm Kyle.
I'm Jillian.
We'll see you at the game.